Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Founder Stories by TeamWave. And our today's guest is Marc Bromhall. So he is the co-founder of Contentellect. Contentellect provides blog management services for SMEs and SaaS companies and helps companies create amazing blog content to create more, get more visitors to their blog. Shall we get started, Marc?
Sure.
Yeah. My first question would be, we would love to hear from the founder himself. What is Contentellect all about?
Sure. So you summed it up pretty eloquently in your intro. Yeah, so there's not much I can add to that, except that, we are quite specialized in writing really good quality blog content for SaaS companies and startups.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And how did you, I would love to hear like the initial time, what was your experience before this and how did you come up with this idea?
Sure. So my co-founder and myself both have backgrounds in the digital space, albeit slightly different ones. So my background is in ad tech and martech. And so through my experience working for different advertising and marketing technology startups, I became quite au fait with, what great content looked like from a paid distribution perspective. And my co-founder, Marc, his background is in building content websites using SEO. And so his understanding and experience was very much centered around what made great content from a search engine optimization standpoint. And so when we kind of put our heads together, it made sense with our combined experiences to found a content agency, which became Contentellect.
Okay. And it started around 2.5 years back, right?
Yeah, almost 3 years ago. So April 2018.
Okay. And how did you get your initial customers, like the first few customers? How do you connect with them?
It was it was a real graft. I think a lot of startup founders would probably say the same. So it was quite gritty, and we actually got our first few customers from a Facebook group. So we were servicing a slightly different target market when we started. We were predominantly servicing affiliate marketers, and we had a good understanding of some of the Facebook groups which they lived in. So once we had sort of cobbled together an MVP, if you like, a very basic value proposition, we took that to these Facebook groups, and within a few hours we had our first customer.
Okay, great. And what was the value proposition? How did you stand out unique? Because there are so many digital marketing agencies, or so many bloggers out there. So how did you pitch yourself out there to them?
Yeah, I mean, we focused very much on quality. I guess everyone could say that, but in our space, and certainly in the beginning, when we were targeting affiliate marketers, they're a very price sensitive customer cohort. So we were very confined by price, but we also knew that in that price bracket, the quality of content being sort of produced wasn't great. So if we could just produce content that was, even just 15-20% better than what was out in the market, we were going to be able to land customers which would become very sticky, and not just be sticky themselves, but also then evangelize our services to others in the affiliate marketing space, which is exactly what happened.
Okay. So did you have full-time employees, or were you hiring freelancers for creating these blog content?
Yeah, so we started off by hiring, and we still do, a team of freelance writers. So our first freelance writer that we hired has slowly moved up the organizational ladder, and she now heads up our operations team. But she started as a freelancer. She was our first.
What are the marketing channels that you use? How do you reach out to the prospects in your company?
Sure. So our most fruitful channel is cold email outreach, and we use software to do this in an automated fashion. And then second to that would be LinkedIn outreach, for which we also use an automation tool. And then beyond that, we have a Facebook campaign, which we run month on month, which retargets a lot of the prospects who we've reached out to on email and on LinkedIn. And then peripheral channels include, podcasts like this, and also just posting across different social platforms like Quora and Reddit, and Twitter.
Okay, great. As a founder, what was one of the challenge that you faced, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah. I think, initially it was very much about, getting customers. But what we found in the beginning was that because we were playing, as I say, in that affiliate marketing space, in order to land customers, we had to be competitive on price. And after about 6 months, my co-founder and I sat down and realized that we weren't going to be able to scale the business at that price point. The margins were just too thin. And so our revenue and our profit wouldn't be able to scale properly at that price point. So what we then had to do was change tack, pivot, if you like, and go after a different customer cohorts that sat at a higher price point. And that's where we are today, where we predominantly now serve the SaaS market and also technology startups who have slightly deeper pockets, and therefore made our sort of operating margin more feasible when it came to scalability. And so once we, as I say, pivoted and restructured our pricing, and then went after these new customer cohorts, then we were able to start to scale the business and turn it into something that had meaningful month-on-month growth. So I'd say that was one of the early challenges that we faced, for sure.
Okay.
And then the other one, which relates to that, was as we went upstream on price, what we were finding is our our UI and our UX on the site was sort of quite basic. It was an MVP, but a really basic one. And so that what we were struggling to do with that is actually foster and build trust with these prospective customers because of how basic the UI and the UX was. So what then changed the game for us at that time was to do a complete revamp of the site and build a much slicker customer ordering experience. And so now we have a product which we're very happy with and very proud of, and believe that it definitely builds that trust that we weren't able to build before, and therefore it's able to drive a much higher conversion rate with our prospects.
Oh, how does the process happen? Like I saw on your website, the turnaround time for each blog content is 3 to 5 days. So how does the whole process happen? Like how the collaboration process, and you have to review many times. So how does it happen with the clients?
Yeah, so they place an order on our website, and you're correct. If they order a 1,000 word article, which tends to be the most sort of common article length, it takes us about 3 to 5 days to turn that around. And then when we deliver the article, it doesn't end there. We offer an unlimited number of revisions. So if a customer is not happy with the first draft, or if they feel that maybe there are a few changes that they'd like made, then they're at liberty to request those changes. Usually we run our business in Google Suite. So they would make the comments in a Google Doc, which we've shared with them. And then we would update and edit the article based on their revision requests. And our pledge is that, because we offer an unlimited number of revisions, we will always get an article to meet your expectations. Of course, our primary goal is to deliver the article first time around that meets your expectations. But if not, we will get it there so that you will be happy with the article that we deliver to you.
Okay. So 100% customer satisfaction, right?
We aim for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Next is like you have got these set of customers. So do you do anything to retain them, or do you have any process in place?
So what we usually try and do, because we have, broadly speaking, 2 different plans. We have a pay-as-you-go plan, which is for customers who want to purchase content sort of in an ad hoc fashion when they need it. And then we have our monthly plans for customers who are a little bit more serious about content marketing and understand the importance of a regular output of content every single week or every single month. And one of the methods we use is any pay-as-you-go customer who we've had come on board, we will obviously try and encourage them to move over to one of our monthly plans. And this is just done through messaging when we deliver the articles to them. At the end of the email, we might just have a short blurb just explaining the benefits of our monthly blog packages. Other than that, when it comes to retention, we just take the sort of simple approach of always trying to be there for our customers and responding to their requests in a timely fashion. And for the ones in the monthly plans, we'll often hop on a call every so often just to check in with them and make sure that they are happy with what we are delivering.
Great. So during this pandemic time, like many industries had to close down or change their style of working, right? So did it affect Contentellect in any way?
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair question. We did see a intermittent drop-off in business growth from the start of the pandemic, which was the end of March, pretty much globally, all the way through to about, I'll say, June. And this was just because in this early phase, no one really knew what lay ahead, and there was a lot of uncertainty. And we took the decision not to do cold email or any kind of outreach at that stage, just because we felt it was in sort of bad taste.
Yes.
And that seemed to be the kind of prevailing sentiment at the time, when we looked around and looked at other businesses. So because of ceasing all outreach, as you can imagine, we weren't landing any new customers. So there was no kind of incremental increase in our customer count. So what we then had to rely on was 100% retention to keep us buoyant during that time. And thankfully, all of our customers during that period stayed with us. We didn't lose anyone. And that was a huge help in getting us through those sort of 3 or 4 months. And then at that point, we were thankfully able to sort of slowly start to pick up our outreach again in around June or July. And since then, it's been fine. It's been business as usual.
Great. So, So actually, we are almost wrapping up right now. So I had a few questions, like few general questions. I want to know which is a business book that you would love to recommend to other entrepreneurs.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite book of late it's not really a business book per se, but it's a book about a great businessman. And that's the Steve Jobs biography, written by
Walter Isaacson, right?
Walter Isaacson. Yeah, I think I've read that book about 3 times already. And I've just learned a hell of a lot from, the way he sort of tells Steve Jobs' story. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's very inspiring. And what is a productivity app that you use personally?
Yeah, the one I use kind of most frequently actually is Trello. Just to manage my sort of day-to-day tasks. It's nice and simple. It's not too fancy, and so I find it very easy just to go in and quickly note what I need to do down.
Okay. So anything that you would like to say, Mark, like any point which I missed out on?
No, I think, your questions have covered it all pretty well. Not much I can add.
Any advice for entrepreneurs, like any aspiring entrepreneurs? What would be your advice for them?
Yeah, I would say in those first few months, things it's not all, milk and honey, and you're definitely going to have the down days and the days where things may not look too optimistic, but stick with it. If you are confident or you really believe you've come up with a product or service that has some kind of fit in the market, don't give up too early. Stick with it, and through grit and determination, you'll get there.
Yeah. Okay, so that's all from my end. Thanks a lot, Mark, for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thank you.